What about just private companies in general?
I'm happily fine with TSA preach.
We already got it. I'm moving. Adam,
move on.
Okay, I'm learning.
I'm moving on.
I'm
no,
learning.
I already learned. I understand. It's great. So we know what the argument is.
Progressive.
Trump set to unleash Liberation Day tariffs.
Progressive.
President Trump will unveil Liberation Day tariffs on Wednesday at 4 p.m.
That was
Yeah, we get the
That
point.
was yesterday.
Progressive.
In a White House's Rose Garden, promising to stop America being ripped off and deliver a new golden age of U.S. industry. Though U.S. White House Press Secretary Karen Lehman said that he was still perfecting it to make sure it's a perfect deal with advisors less than 24 hours before. Trump, who on Monday claimed he'd be very kind, has kept details vague with reports suggesting options from reciprocal tariffs to a 20% blanket rate or preferential treatment for some nations. Rob, if you want to play this, is this yesterday, Rob, or is this...
This is yesterday from the Rose Garden. This is
okay,
the
fantastic.
president.
Go for it.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
Liberation Day. My fellow Americans. Yeah, here we go.
You're about to be
April 2nd,
liberated from your money.
2025 will forever be
You're about to be liberated from your money.
remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. Going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy.
I also have another clip. This is the president discussing how the tariffs will help eliminate income tax. Possibly.
Go for it.
From 1789
Yeah, I want to do that. See what he thinks of the tariffs after this.
to
Yes.
1913, we were at
The problem with PBD is they this was the most recent episode, so we're gonna have to wait.
tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it. Isn't that a nice problem to have? What do you think, Marco? Good problem? Marco would love that problem. But we don't have that problem anymore, but we're not going to have it very much longer, I will tell you. But they collected so much money.
Favorite word.
They actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to give it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with the tariff policy. It would have been a much different
All right, it worked. Try out the new emotes.
story. They tried to bring back tariffs
Mappa,
to save
make
our
America pep
country,
again.
but it was
Jeff
gone. It was gone. It
Nice.
was too late. Nothing could have been done. It took years and years to get out of that depression, far longer than even FDR had that office right over there for a long period of time. The ramp system, it's rather intricate, was built because of him, and every time you walk up, you think of him, and he did a great job in many ways, but it lasted long beyond his
Well, are we actually watching the full thing?
terms, as you know.
I guess so.
But it's not
Well, guys, I'm making up for yesterday. Here
too
we
late
go.
any longer, and we're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again. We're going to be wealthy as a country because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen. We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable.
Right.
But
It's not even
we're getting
believable.
smart.
You guys just can't believe
Okay,
it.
Tom, your thoughts on this, and I'm going to come to you.
So markets love
Oh, so this was yesterday.
continuity, even if continuity is rooted in, trade inequality and things have been going on for decades.
Yep.
And to get through the shift, to get through the food poisoning, we can see markets react to sentiment, and markets don't know what to make of this. How many tariffs
There
are
we
going
go.
to
It
stay
does
for a
work.
day versus a week versus a month? You don't know. How many tariffs are going to shift? Israel actually backed down and said, okay, we're done. Yesterday, correct? Israel went, hang on, we're good. We're backing off. We're done here. Interesting. Canada moved a couple of them, not the rest of them. Canada's still figuring it out, but they're blinking. Canada is blinking. So now the question is going to be, how long does all this take? And the markets, the markets don't like it. The markets don't like the sentiment of
You ask and you shall receive.
uncertainty. And that's why you have Jim Cramer and other people. Oh,
You guys want a dumpster fire and shocked Pikachu face? I produce you with Shock Pika and Dumpster Fire.
You're getting killed out here. You're getting killed because you like the status quo
I like
that you
how
had
those
a
are the
minute
basics,
ago.
and they're like, those should just be like basic emotes over on YouTube, by the way.
Because you knew how to play that game and you knew how those markets worked. And respectfully, they're there to trade and make money in an increasing market. What is easier? It's easier to stay yesterday with what we've got, or there's a greater goal. And the greater goal is American jobs, and the jobs report was better than people thought. Huh, interesting. That's not a headline. Why is that buried? And you've got the uncertainty of the markets. Now, the uncertainty of markets makes everybody look at their 401k and look at the things and be concerned. And yes, there's concern there. But
all right, Bloodstone.
You got to
I'm happy to oblige.
look down the street and see where we're going. And it is not easy to get through the food poisoning, but there is life on the other side, and you can see.
Did he just say it's not easy to get through the food poisoning, but there's life on the other side? Not all the time. That's part of that's part of food poisoning. Is sometimes you die from it, there, dude.
What the president is talking about, and I think.
You know what? We gotta just crack a few eggs.
We gotta trust it, and we gotta look at what's.
You know, we just gotta trust the orange guy. He's gonna keep us rich, and we just gotta again. A few eggs gotta get broken. You know, some people are gonna suffer. It's okay. It's okay.
What's going on?
It's not gonna be me.
We can already see little islands of change going on. So let's find out how everybody.
These are the people that, honestly, if there is a God, then they're all going to lose their money, and it's not gonna be at like the end of the world. Like honestly, like it's gonna be at a poignant moment where like. All of a sudden, like you would see wealth distribution in a very, very funny way where all the good people get all that money. But this is where I'm sorry, but I question religion.
Everybody else moves on these tariffs.
Sam.
You said tariff was the last word. That was the only time you used the word tariffs. Look, I am in favor of tariffs when it is part of a specific agenda to build a certain industry or a certain industry within a certain region. This is absolute insanity. First off, they're going to use this as potential revenue. Like he says, it's not going to replace the income tax, but what they're going to do is they're going to use it as an excuse to cut taxes on wealthy people. You guys will be very excited about that. But who's going to pay that tax? If it's $600 billion a year, as they're saying, over a 10-year period, it's going to be $6 trillion. That is going to be an average of $5,000 tax on Americans. It is a regressive tax. I like taxation, but I like progressive taxation because $5,000 for somebody making $40,000 is a much bigger problem than $5,000 for me or for you. And so this is a regressive tax on Americans. Now, if it's to work to build up industry, and I don't know how we're going to have a banana industry in this country or how we're going to have a lumber industry to rival Canada.
I live in Florida. I lived in Florida for a little bit. I saw that they got bananas in the trees there.
It is because we just don't have the wood and so on. I mean, people get the idea. You know, there's certain industries you can actually say, this is one we're going to build up. Maybe there will be a low-cost clothing business that revives in this country, but I doubt it. But if tariffs are meant to work
for a series of unfortunate peps
to build up industry, that means,
dude, I'm going back and reading some of these.
People aren't paying those taxes. So the tariffs may not raise the money, but
Scarlet Pepper
will happen is, and I think you understand this too about pricing.
All right, you're on fire.
If the price of goods goes up on average, and it looks like in some of these places it's going to go way above 10%. I mean, some of Vietnam, like 39%, China, 75%.
You guys are going.
They're adding all of these tariffs on. It's insane. Then U.S. companies, to the extent that there are ones that are making these same goods, they have between 0 and 75% to raise their prices. And they will because, the price of this, there's a certain elasticity, and they can justify raising their prices 5% if their nearest competitor is, 25% raise in price. I mean, they'll do it because, there's some products that people just can't do without. So this is such a disaster. And of course, what it also does is, last time we had a major financial crisis in this country in 2008, it took 6 years for the stock market to get back at parity. You're talking about the 401ks have been.
And this is the thing, like they keep bringing this up, like, oh yeah, it came back, right? It came back, right? And they fail to see that Obama was there for the entire time. It was a Democrat, and they also fail to see that they're kind of insinuating like they want to just be like, oh, Trump broke it, well now he's got to fix it.
A disaster. And so
like, what else is it?
As far as like people just don't put as much money in them as they should because they don't have the money on a regular basis. But God help those people if there wasn't Social Security, a robust Social Security, because if you've got to retire and you're 65 and you were planning on retiring, you have a small 401k, it is screwed, and it may not come back for years. Maybe it'll come back tomorrow. But
how do you feel about reciprocal tariffs?
Here's the other absolute insanity. Those tariffs that he claimed on that chart are not tariffs. Every economist out there has been saying, where did he get these numbers? And they're starting to figure out that they did some weird... There's countries on there that don't even have people in them. It's bizarre. They took like the CIA fact book and just made a list of countries. I mean, it's completely for show.
Which countries?
There's Google it. There's like one or two places where there's no people.
Every single one of those countries.
No.
Is a massive
They released a big release. He'll find it. And these are not actual tariffs that are being applied to us.
Every single one of these countries.
There is
China.
India. Are we sure there's people there?
China, the EU, Vietnam, Taiwan, Japan,
Do it
India,
on
South Korea,
Google.
Thailand, Switzerland, Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia. Which of those countries aren't there not people living?
Put in the Trump just added a tariff on a country with no people.
All right, but so he added one country that maybe
it's just an indication of how slapdash this is.
No,
dude, but these are not tariffs. These are not
on one random little.
Those reciprocal tariffs. They're not. Those aren't tariffs. He is combined. He is basically what they've tried to figure out is like where'd they get these numbers from, and they have taken the trade deficit and divided it by what we send there, and that's the way that they've assumed that that's a tariff. It's basically they're just saying we have these trade deficits, and of course we have trade deficits with certain places because there's some products that we're just never going to make. And there's some places that don't have the buying power that we have. I mean, so this is just bizarre. And even like former Trump trade people were just like, well, maybe it's just an opening salvo for a negotiation. And maybe it is. I mean, I'm.
I mean, he already came out at what? Probably about before the end of this interview, but like right after maybe? Who knows? It was within that time frame, though. Like, he finally came out and just went, you know what? I'm open to negotiation.
I'm just fortunate that I'm not planning on retiring.
I still hold that he saw the markets, and they were just like, sir, you have to hold, you have to hold. He's like, I can't do it.
Soon, and
I gotta go truth.
401k isn't decimated. But this is going to cause inflation, and these prices are not going to come down. I mean, Trump is trying to tell U.S. automakers, don't raise your prices. And if he wants to impose price controls, he would not be the first Republican president to do this. Nixon was the first president and the only president, as far as I know, to do price controls, at least in the modern era. I'm not necessarily...
I wasn't kidding. They got this from Grok. If you type how to implement tariffs easily into AI, it'll give you this plan.
Against price controls in certain situations, but this is like such an own goal. It's fascinating.
Well, of course.
No, Jimmy Carter's waging price controls for decades before Nixon. Whoops. Checking my notes. No, he was after.
Right.
It wasn't just Nixon.
Well, Nixon started it. Right.
And there was no other president since
Nixon started it.
I was just kind of correcting that.
Okay.
Back to
I'm for price controls.
You are for price controls.
Well, I think we should have applied some in the wake of COVID. Yes, there was a lot of...
Instead of being condescending dicks about everything that is perceived as socialist, because we get it. You're PSYOP agents. You need to make sure that nothing leftist ever seems cool.
Gouging going on. I think they
got to make sure that you're an agent of the boot. You're just a groove of the boot.
Everybody knows that.
Adam.
I think it's...
I mean, there's plenty of data that at least 40% of the inflation was a function of gouging in some form or another.
Well, Sam, number one, respect for you for being here. I don't think, genuinely, you're...
I am working, and I keep looking back at my chat every 5 minutes, and Kirk is still going.
Whether you're a progressive or democratic socialist or skew socialist, you're talking to a bunch of capitalists and an angry patriot.
I think he's trying to go till the end of the video, which, man, good luck.
That's cool.
If you
Like, we're
can
not
do
going to
that-
change your mind. You're probably not going to change our mind.
If you guys haven't been paying attention to the chat, we have our chatter Kirk. He is coming up with just some really creative ways to use my name, and I find it just absolutely hilarious, and I love it.
But what we're solving for is the truth. The reality is these reciprocal tariffs, what Pat asked you about. Are you familiar with the golden rule?
Do unto others as you want to do unto them. Is that
Bingo. Do you abide by the golden rule?
I mean, in my personal relationship.
From the PepTalks. I like
Yes.
that one.
There you go. So
From the PepTalks.
the golden rule is you want to do something to me, I'm going to do it to you. If you treat me fairly, I'll treat you fairly. If you're good with me, I'll be good with you. But
What
if you want to,
constitutes fair?
hold on, guy. If you want to actually take advantage of me, then all of a sudden we might have to have a
The Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh, wait.
economic war. And that's what's happening. So if you show up that list, I know you want to focus on the one random country.
That's actually one of those things that actually became self-fulfilling, where wasn't really into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Somebody gave me a CD of them when I was, a teenager, and then I ended up getting into them, and they were just like, "Oh, look at that! Pepper likes the Red Hot Chili Peppers."
That you can't name.
Tell us-
Hold on.
It's not as clever as you think.
Tell us how England is taking advantage of us.
Well, England is part of the UK. We understand that. But if you want to go
Well, how
numbers,
is the UK
hold, Sam,
Wait,
taking advantage
hold
of
on.
us?
You know, when people talk, you listen, and then when you talk, I listen. That's how
Okay.
conversations go. You know that.
I'm just
Come on.
asking you to clarify
Okay,
your
I'm
statement.
going to get there.
Wait. If that's the case, then we can go back to the beginning of this, and then you can admit that you owe Sam an apology for not showing him the same respect. And this goes for all four of you. That's kind of fun.
So the way that these
You're all four hypocrites. Hey.
tariffs work is if they're doing something to us, we'll do something to them. Rob, show the picture. So I would love to hear what you think. So all these countries have people living in them. All these countries, these, China, the EU, that's part of,
Yeah.
all those countries over there. You get the UK over there, Vietnam, Taiwan, Japan, India. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people living in India, South Korea, Thailand. All these countries are charging us. So the reality is, if you go through the numbers, not feeling, Sam,
There's the whole list.
Sam, I need you to pay attention. I know you're on the
you
phone
are
doing some
charging us.
data.
I got it.
Here we
Sam,
go
there's
now.
the whole list.
They're charging us way more
90% of
to
Vietnam.
access their markets than we are charging them.
That is not. That's the whole
Sam,
point.
stop
Those
it.
are not tariffs.
Stop it. You're going to have to bring.
Rob, do me a favor. Pull
So
this
we're
chart
charging
up.
on average 2.5%. The EU is charging on average 20%. Japan is 24%. China 34%. Taiwan 32%.
Doomsday Pepper goated. I have to say that's probably my favorite one that I've seen yet.
Vietnam 46%.
The Doomsday Peppers. Oh man, that's actually man,
These is what
should start a punk band.
the numbers are. Now, if you have different numbers, I'd love to see them. But the reality is, some of these countries are our friends, and some of these countries are our foes. And as Trump says, if you want to listen to what Trump says, in many cases, many of our friends are a lot worse. He cited Australia won't even let us sell U.S. beef. So
With everything going the way that it is, Doomsday Pepper might just become a thing.
Situation.
It's me with a bunch of ash on my face, and I got a cool cloak because you got to have a cool cloak. You can't see my arms. You always got to guess what I'm doing.
are actual numbers. He talks about the golden rule. There's a similarity there. The golden age of
Optimus
America
Prime.
is what he's
I like.
talking about, because this is a way to bring down our deficits, to reduce taxes. I would love to hear if you had a better idea.
Bring down our
He had to quickly
deficits.
pull
When
that.
These are trade deficits.
Okay.
So we have a trade deficit with
shit.
Canada of $200 billion a year. They charge us, in many cases, 200 to 300% for dairy. Okay, Mexico is an
no,
example.
they do not. No, you're absolutely 100%
This is a
wrong
co-
on the
no,
dairy.
no, this
no,
is-
no, no. Your dairy
No.
thing is absolutely
you
wrong.
think
There
this is my dairy thing?
Yes, this is
This is
not.
what Trump
there is
said in his
not,
speech.
Yes, Trump lied. There is not a single pint of
Just
milk
like you lied
of dairy
about
that goes.
how many countries
no,
don't have
the
people.
Dairy, the dairy,
Pretty sure India's got a
the
couple
dairy,
people.
That dairy goes to Canada. Not, we don't. If we sell a certain threshold, tariffs are applied, but we don't reach that threshold ever. There are not a dollar.
Probably because it's too damn expensive to access the
No,
marketplace.
no.
Anyway, I'm talking about the sweeping tariffs, you're talking about being a milkman. What I want to understand is, why don't you
don't
think
care about any of the facts at all? It's
Sam,
hilarious.
don't BS me.
Oh my
It's
God.
hilarious.
I used to think like
Google
you.
dairy. Google dairy
Sam,
tariffs to Canada.
Fuck your dairy. I'm
you
talking
brought up dairy.
But you want to go. I'm giving one example.
Wow. I mean, yeah, and he's showing that your example sucks. This is how debates work, dude, and you just got cooked.
want to have
That's the
20 minute-
only example you gave.
Auto industries, they're charging us 25%. We're now doing a minimum tax 10% across the board. So
Minimum, but in other places, Vietnam,
Let me
China.
ask a simple question. Though.
So-
The whole thing Adam just said, it could have been simplified to we have a
I like how PBD steps in when one of his guys ends up getting cooked, and he's just like, we got to put an end to this.
around $1 trillion of trade deficits. Would you like to fix that?
Part of the reason why we have those trade deficits is because A, we keep our dollar strong. B, because there are bigger customer bases in this country than in other countries. Our economy is based
Do you
upon
think we're helping
consumption.
other countries' economy improve? Don't you think we have the leverage to ask more from them?
I think, again, I think tariffs work if there is a specific industry.
Yeah.
We saw this in the CHIPS Act, right? There were carrots and there were sticks in the CHIPS Act. We want to
There were peppers and there were sticks.
onshore chip production in this country, both for economic reasons, but also like long-term national security
for
reasons.
example, for me-
and so what you do is you provide incentives and disincentives.
Have you ever negotiated a deal with anybody?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess so.
You do. And are you a decent negotiator? Are you a bad negotiator? Are you a horrible negotiator? Where would you put yourself as a negotiator?
It depends on the context.
Okay. Do you try to find a way to negotiate where both sides win, like a fair negotiation?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Newsweek. It's a newspaper and outlet that's on the left. But Rob, if you can go all the way to the
Did he just say that for real? Newsweek on the left? What? I can prove that wrong. They put Newsweek on the right on Ground News. Here. Let's see. Let's find a story with Newsweek real quick. Newsweek. Here, fuck it. I'll just type Newsweek. If I could learn how to type, that'd be nice. Here, whatever. Espanol. Fine, fuck it. Go here. Okay, never mind. This is taking too long. Okay.
to the top.
I'll
Okay,
find
this is
out
a
over here.
Newsweek outlet. So full list of countries of reciprocal tariffs. This is from today, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
April
Yesterday
3rd.
was updated today. Okay.
Yep.
Go a little bit low, Rob, if you could. So let's just kind of go. Let's just start from the top and see what it says. So it talks about the Liberation Day. Great. Got it. Why it matters. Tariffs remain in place until U.S. narrows a 1.2 trade imbalance recorded last year. That means we're making others $1.2 trillion more than we're making. Okay.
Weird.
That's the imbalance. Okay.
Okay, so Newsweek is actually listed as a center-right publication, so
So this is Newsweek. The president said
that's funny.
There was
And
a-
again, this actually proves my point. Like, I like how they're saying that they're centrists, but they're going to take a centrist publication and just go, they're left. They're leftists. These guys are clowns. They're MAGA clowns that can't even admit that they're MAGA because they know that the stink of MAGA is too much.
It means that we
baseline-
are buying
Wow.
more stuff from other places than they're buying from us.
Sure. Yeah. and
Because
that's a
we
deficit.
have the biggest consumer engine in the world.
Sure.
So it
And-
would make sense.
But okay, so if that's the argument, continue. Now, then the next thing would be
Over on YouTube, if you're a new viewer, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you're enjoying the content, please do. I am one subscriber away from 1,200, so let's get that 1,200.
hey, charge me the same thing I'm buying from you as you're buying from me. Let's keep that number the
Also, hit like on the stream. It really helps me out. Thank you.
same number. Don't overcharge me for it. That is not a tough request that we're making. Go a little bit lower, Rob. Keep going. So the president's based on tariffs of 10% of all imports. Okay, great. According to chart, Trump held 34% on Chinese imports, 20% on goods, European goods. All that'll come up when we go a little bit lower. That's the picture he's talking about. Keep going lower, Rob.
so it's ultimately going to be 54 plus another 10 on
So,
China.
Until we become reciprocal. Yes, the U.S. had an overall trade deficit of $918 in 2024. with the largest gaps coming from China, 295, EU, 235, Mexico, 172, Vietnam, 123. That's the numbers that we have there. Then Cambodia topped at a chart at 49% tariffs, followed by Madagascar, 47%, Sri Lanka, 44%, Vietnam, 46%. If these were the two countries you said they don't have people there, I think they got people there. So if we go a little bit lower, keep going. Here's a full list from Newsweek. China, tariffs charged to the U.S., 67%.
That's just not...
Us to them, 34%. EU, 39%.
This is the list that the White House put out, and all economists are looking at this and going, what are they talking about?
Can fact check
Yeah, they're not going to put out false information.
Newsweek can fact check this. If not, that's Newsweek. You don't believe in fake news.
The President of the United States just held up the thing.
You believe in real news. So Taiwan, 64-32. Japan, 46-24. India, 52-26. Who the hell negotiate? Look at, by the way, each one of them is almost 2x. 26 times 2 is 52. 25 times 2 is 50. 36 times 2 is 72. 31 times 2 is 62, but they did 61. 32 times 2 is 64. Malaysia, 24.47. Go a little bit lower, Rob. 49.97.
I'm so bad at math.
10.10 UK were the same. So South Africa, 36.
I just kind of went like, sure.
Brazil, 10.10. Bangladesh, 37.74. 2x. If these numbers are true, Sam, let's say somebody on the left, okay, fact checks this, and this is someone that's a person you respect. If these numbers are accurate, what do you say then?
I'm going to read from CNBC since you guys won't Google this. Many observers said the U.S. appeared to have divided the trade deficit by imports from a given country to arrive at tariff rates for individual countries.
Can see it? What's
just
the title
Google CNBC. How did the U.S. arrive at its tariff
right there.
figures?
Go for it. We're not uncomfortable showing clips.
Okay.
Just say it, he'll pull it up. So which part do you want him to read?
Well, scroll down right there. Just number 2. Many observers said the U.S. appeared to have divided the trade deficit by imports from a given country to arrive at tariff rates for individual countries.
Many observers.
Such methodology doesn't necessarily align with conventional
Yeah, Sam just caught what they were. Many observers.
which the calculate
Oh my God, that was so embarrassing because that was Vinny.
tariffs. I mean, they've just made up what the tariffs were.
No.
Sam.
Okay, maybe their methodology
Sam, but
is
let's
different.
do this.
But what are the actual tariffs?
This is my question, though.
Google the tariffs.
I actually want to know this here. Rob, you can
Mighty PepTalks.
ask Grok to fact check it. You can go under Charlie Kirk
Fucking Grok. They love their Grok. They Grok so much.
and just type in Grok. Is this accurate, these numbers? You can go to ChatGPT. That's ran by Sam Altman, who is an enemy of...
I love how they're just like, we could go to our fact checker that we trust, and then you could go to your fact checker that you trust, and then we could get the alternate facts because that's a thing now.
Musk and see what that one says. You can fact check both of them. This is all I want to ask.
Honestly, when Kellyanne Conway said that shit, we entered a parallel universe that we can never return from.
Ask you to see what's your credibility with being able to reason. If those are correct, that they are charging us more taxes than we are, what do you think is the right thing to happen? If those numbers are correct.
I think we should look at what industries we want to build in this country. Car industry, let's say. Let's say we want to build solar panels, which is one that I would choose. Just as an example, we could go down the list, right? And I would also look at like, okay, what regions do we have in this country that need more jobs, more manufacturing? And then I would target tariffs, not necessarily on the whole country that's coming
Master of Peppers is a good one.
in.
I was actually kind of thinking
I would
that.
target on those products coming from a given country because that is what is called a plan.
Does it matter
as
what
opposed
the
to this
product
buckshot?
is? No,
Absolutely.
So you're willing to pay more you're willing to allow the other person to tax you more for product you're buying than you're doing it to them? Who needs who more?
They're not. They're not taxing me.
But hang on a second. The reciprocal tariff is simple. It's saying if you charge me an additional 30, let's match it. I'll do 30 as well.
The point is that when let's say China has a 50% tariff on our cars.
Yes.
Okay. And they do that because they want to build their car industry. It is not going to create inflation in China because they have such a high tariff on our
China
cart.
become a behemoth.
We may have, and certainly by we mean corporate America.
Politicians,
and maybe
not corporate America.
Oh,
Politicians.
it's corporate America.
It's politicians.
Listen,
They come up with the policies and
I saw
lobbyists.
in the 90s like how corporate America was so freaked out
answered
by
my question
Tiananmen
here.
Square.
You still
But
haven't answered my question.
I'm telling
my
you,
question is, if that's
My buddy just met John Cena,
accurate,
like randomly.
if those numbers are accurate, that we're
I'm
being
not going
charged.
to punish the American people with a regressive tax because you have some
But you are,
literally
though.
elementary
But you
school
are, though.
notion of fairness.
Elementary school. Here we
Honestly.
go. If those are true, okay, on them charging us more, would you
They're not
sit
charging
there and
us more. They're
support?
charging more for our products to get in there.
Do you think it's fair for us to pay twice as much as we're charging them? Do you think that's fair?
I don't think that fairness has anything to do with it.
Dominator. I've had that one. That was coined by somebody in my high school.
What's
you're
best
the
for
fair.
the
You're the one that
American
claims you're a fair guy.
What's best for the American public?
Okay, so let me
is
ask
the
you another question.
I would ask.
Who needs you more? Does YouTube need you, or do you need YouTube?
I probably need YouTube.
Why do you need
more than-
YouTube more?
Because they have a lot of other people they can go
Oh,
to.
thank you. Who needs who more? America? Do you need the American customers, or do we need Bangladesh? Who needs who more?
We better hope that a lot of these countries
my
don't. I
God,
mean, Canada is starting to
what an argument
develop a
here.
different.
It's actually kind of funny because now, I want to hear somebody that listens to PBD that like makes something that ships something out of this country. And I want to hear their take on this. I want to see if they're still PBD fans, or do they feel betrayed by that statement? Did they lose subscribers over something like that? I wonder.
relationship with China. I mean, this is going to ruin a
It's
lot
going to
of.
bring jobs to America. This is why Apple said, "I'm investing 500 billion here." This is why EU,
The CHIPS Act.
1.5
UAE said
trillion.
The CHIPS Act.
1.4 trillion. This
CHIPS
is
Act.
why
CHIPS
Saudi
Act.
said 600
Yeah,
billion.
CHIPS Act.
This is why
CHIPS Act.
all these companies said hundreds of billions.
CHIPS
Why,
Act.
From your
why are they
mouth to
saying
God's
that?
ear. I
But
hope
why are they
this goes
saying
well.
that though? Why are they saying that?
I
Why
hope
do you
this
think they're-
goes well.
But why do you think? Why did Rolls-Royce say we're going to move our different plants that we have from Mexico, Canada, and China?
Guys, get this. Rolls Royces are going to be cheaper for us.
To U.S. Why are they saying that? Why are they
Rolls-Royce-
saying that? These are jobs for your American people that are not getting paid. Trump's trying to get those people jobs. Why don't you support?
Meanwhile, 900 people just got fired from Stellantis. Another, I think it was, I forgot the exact number, but a couple hundred got fired from the Whirlpool plant in Indiana.
There may be some benefit in terms of like manufacturing, but overall, you're going to have a regressive tax on Americans.
If you
It's
sit
not
there-
targeted. When you target cars, I agree with you. Tariffs have a place, but there's no plan here. The idea of just blanket fairness
Only you
doesn't
have
mean
plans.
anything
Trump- they
because
don't have any
you're
plans.
forcing Americans.
Dude, the guy's done more
a
in the
regressive
first
tax.
60.
We have literally seen his plans in effect, and they seem to not be working that well, dude. So also, you guys, for how much you love business, refuse to look at his business track record. And like, dude, I would actually posit to PBD. How would you run a casino? Do you think that you could ever bankrupt a casino? And I would go from there.
50 days, then the last
Actually, that is kind of putting them on the hot seat there.
previous
Because no matter what, they're going to have to like, they're either going to have to like talk shit about Trump in the fact that he like, who did he? Because wait. Well, they try to be like, well, it's who he hired. I'm sure it wasn't his fault. I'm sure he delegated, and it was his company that failed.
4 presidents,
See, never mind. I'm already there.
not including him.
And I
excluding
hope
him,
the courts
did the first
continue
2
to
years.
inhibit what he's doing.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's
And-
yeah,
oh,
that's
yeah,
good job.
Sam,
That's
just,
where
let
you
me
go
just, just to build on what Pat was saying, Apple promising to invest $500 billion, SoftBank,
CHIPS Act.
Oracle, $500 billion, Nvidia,
Again, the CHIPS Act.
TSMC, the
Because of these tariffs?
$100 billion, $200 billion, Meta,
Okay.
$500 billion, Eli Lilly, $27 billion, Johnson & Johnson, DMAX, CMA, CGM, Stellantis, GM, Hyundai. The list goes on. All these companies
But to
are
him-
basically saying,
to
we're going to
him-
bring back
Which is funny because of the CHIPS Act, like being canned. Now we're going to have to pay for the chips, that we were going to be reproducing, which actually are, it's a huge fucking industry, but
manufacturing jobs to America. Bringing back jobs will stimulate the economy. Isn't that good for America?
A part of why I respect Sam Seder is the following. Let me tell you why I respect Sam. Do you know why I respect Sam?
Can be helpful.
Here's why I respect Sam.
We're not going to get huge banana production in the United States, but now your bananas are going to cost an extra 10, 20%.
Hundreds of billions of dollars.
But he's not going to give you credit. He's not. You don't understand. He just said earlier, I'm not going to give my money to a private corporation.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He just told you earlier.
I said I'm not going to give it to Clear at the airport.
No, you said private corporation.
I have TSA pre. Why would I give it to the private
one? We can go
one?
back and play what you exactly said. This is recorded. So for me, to me, I'm already at a point that I ask you, if it's the same, if those numbers are accurate, do you support it?
No.
I would go, okay, so no matter what Trump does, you're not going to support.
No, I would support targeted tariffs.
If trillions of dollars are going to be invested in the U.S. economy to create jobs, you don't support that.
What's that?
If trillions of dollars of money is going to be invested into our economy to create jobs, you don't support that.
No,
you want that money to go to the 10 million illegal immigrants that came here that was open order under Biden. That's what you're saying. And by the way, the fact that you're open about it and you're honest about it.
No, that's not. And that, dude, oh my God, I hate disingenuous fucks like this. Like, seriously. You ever talk to me like this in real life? Like, God damn it.
Great.
Okay.
At least
how do these people?
You're not playing game.
Oh no, actually, I got the answer. These are people that have never been hit in the face before.
At least you're saying that's who I am. I would much rather give my money to TSA because it's a government entity than Clear. It's private. I would much rather give my jobs to illegal immigrants than give the jobs to Americans.
Clear is also like double the price. It is.
For at least you get what you pay for.
That's now you're changing now the argument.
I mean, I even had a problem, to be honest with you, paying TSA pre.
Yeah.
Because it is sort of just creates two-tier system.
But would you be comfortable if there was no Clear and no TSA pre-check and everyone just had to be exactly the same, just everyone TSA?
I mean,
would you be comfortable with that?
Comfortable in this, I mean, the way that it was
There's
before?
no paying for anything. There's no Clear.
I do think
there's
it's
no
unfair to people
Everyone
who can't
just
afford to pay, that they have to wait in line and that rich people get to fly through. I do struggle.
Did you fly first class on the way here?
No.
Have you ever flown first class?
Back in my show business days.
What an elitist you are. Have you ever flown private?
They would pay.
Have you ever flown private?
No.
So everyone should be the
You
same.
probably drink
Everyone
free
should
beer.
just do TSA. Everyone should fly economy.
I like how the idea of somebody having one good day is elitist. Like, guys, Duke, actually, I want to know what your thoughts on this are, because honestly, you're the one I have the most conversations with about this. But like, at what point did we just stop doing that? Because like we do it, like look at the way that the left police Hassan's house buying, and like I've had people pop up here and say that it's like, oh, look at you contribute to consumerism. How do we fight back against something like that, except for just going like, dude, we're not talking about the same like type of elitism here. Like, you're talking about me flying first class one time and enjoying like, some free drinks and living it up one time like a vacation, where that's your life. You live every day like that, and you're fighting for the fact that you might have to give up one day of that.
It's very unfair if some people.
I think
is that a fair assessment of that?
Are doing.
Wow, I'm stammering real bad today. Sorry, guys.
Better than
I
others.
think we can. I
get it
can
now.
agree
I get it now.
that it is a little unfair that money will get you through that line at the airport, which is like supposed to be mass communication. Yeah, I mean, mass transportation. Yeah, I do think.
Wait,
What? Do you only take the regular basic Uber?
Do I only take the
Basic Uber.
Lyft?
Lyft? Do you never use the black? You never use the SUV?
I did to come here.
What
but
an
that was you
elitist
guys.
you are.
That was the one you sent.
Oh, so you won't pay out of pocket, but if someone will pay for you.
But wait, there's one thing. But Sam,
What, he's not supposed to take the ride from the airport for this just because, oh my God, nice things, me so scared, me leftist? Like, again, this is them doing the thing where I guess you're a leftist. You don't deserve nice things. because you think that nice things are bad because you associate nice things with the capitalists and the evils of money. Therefore, no, go back to your tent, you disingenuous weirdo.
Dude, you're a straight up communist. I love it.
Hold on, there's one thing that you said that
I respect the fact that you're here. You're just espousing socialist communist ideas. Massive respect for you coming here. You can embrace it. It's all good.
The one thing that kind of we just brushed over.
That's who I am.
What up, some rebel? How you doing?
Is you saying that you hoped that these judges keep interfering with Trump's agenda, which is you're basically cheering for unelected bureaucrats to go against the will of the people. Like, you're hearing yourself. That's not democracy. That's a power grab. So you're happy with all the judges and all the law firms and everything going after Trump.
Bureaucrats.
Yeah, those unelected guys. You're cool with that? So if it happens to your guy?
I am cool with judges appointed by Bush and Obama and Biden and Trump stopping the unelected bureaucrat Elon Musk from shutting down key functions of our government. Yes.
Okay, our government has been broken for, like, what has anybody done to fix any of the problem? All the money going, all the everything. The fact that you're happy with them trying to, Sam, this is the will of the people. How many, 70-some million people? We could laugh.
Oh, Vinny, you just, thank you for that gift.
All you want, but you're happy with judges interfering with what the president of the United States has been tasked to do. He has a mandate and he's kicking ass. And I feel, Sam,
I will quote from Elon Musk. This is a referendum on Trump. This is a referendum on Doge. This is a referendum on Musk. And 2 nights ago, he got clobbered in Wisconsin. And he was there on the ground in front of a big American flag, telling lies about Social Security and the American people in Wisconsin. Not all, 60% of the people in Wisconsin, this purple state, basically said, go home. Enough so that Trump has to leak that he's going to get rid of Musk and kick him out. I don't think he actually will.
I don't think
but
so.
He felt the sting enough that he realizes he has to do that because Doge and Musk, and I suggest Trump, very unpopular. I mean, obviously we're talking a margin, right? Because there's going to be 45% of people who are going to be in favor of whoever the Democrat is and 45% who are going to be in favor of whoever the Republican is. But on the margins, yes, 6 months ago it was different, but today it's very different, I think.
I think it's not as much a problem as the left makes it out to be, and the way you combat it is laugh at them, move on, and don't give it legitimacy. Okay. And you take that approach because you understand that these narratives are pushed by the right cynically, and dumb people and bad actors always exist. Cool. There's nothing you can do to fix a lot of these things will always exist in a tiny minority, and people will fixate on them. You must push back. Don't take them seriously.
But Sam,
or you must push back, or push back. Don't take it or them seriously.
And here's the thing. Okay, so Trump is.
I wish there was a way I could do like 2 separate funds, so it's like I could just be like, hey, here's Pep's glasses fund. Full disclosure, I kind of just pieced out the math. It's been about 4 years since I've had my my prescription updated, and it's definitely starting to affect me.
Done after this, right? 4 years, he's gone.
You promise?
Can't see shit.
He's gonna be gone. Like he likes to troll all you guys, and you guys all lose your minds, and I get it.
I haven't.
But
really
what? Here's my thing. Again, and this is going back to the beginning. What are you guys offering? What is your side saying?
This is coming from people that put up "Let's Go Brandon" flags and thought that a 90-year-old was the dooming of America. So
okay, besides the Trump evil Hitler, because that shit didn't work, your side literally called him Hitler.
You were literally doing the same shit with the fucking, like, this is what I hate about these guys, is the fact that they pretend that there's like somehow like somehow better. Like,
and the guy got shot in the freaking head. Okay, that's your party. Now he's gonna be gone. Okay, who are you guys gonna
shot in the head? Wow.
Put up? Who is it? Because it looks.
Wow, these guys.
Looks like it's gonna be Gavin Newsom. He's podcasts, all this shifting to the other side. You guys literally have nobody.
I would bet you any amount of money that it's not Gavin Newsom.
It's going to be the front runner for this upcoming.
I will bet you any amount of money that the nominee in 2028 will not be Gavin Newsom.
That nominee, or is he going to be running?
Guys,
is he the front runner?
Guys,
no, he's going to run, but he's not going to be the front runner.
Yeah,
$100.
$100?
That's all?
Let's do $500.
Oh, look at this.
No, $500.
Shook it for 100. Shook it for 100.
Don't be a pussy.
Adam, shut your freaking mouth. I bet you.
No, $500. Don't put your money where your mouth
$500 all the
is.
freaking time.
Uh-oh. I'm starting to think that Vinny doesn't get paid as much as we thought.
Bet in the middle at 250 right now.
I still want to know who would you think?
Hold on.
In 2028.
Sam!
Let me finish. In 2028, who is going? If right now, I know it's.
Dude, this is why he's the best. Right there.
It's a while out.
He's just like, got him.
Who in 2028 is going to be the front runner for the Democratic Party? If it's not going to be Gavin Newsom, who that slithering snake is making the move to do it. Who is it going to be? I'm very...
Real quick, welcome everybody that's new to the channel that has not already subscribed. If you guys can, I'd appreciate it. If you guys could like the channel, then please also do that. And yeah, just in general, I really appreciate you guys being here.
Curious.
I will bet you 1,000 it won't be Gavin Newsom, but you're stuck at 100.
Go ahead.
But
someone finally did it. Pepper bet David.
I don't know. I think there's a chance that like if I had to guess, and this is not necessarily who I would support, and I'm gonna wait. I don't really, to be honest with you, I have spent zero time thinking about 2028. But if I had to guess, I would say somebody. No, it's absolutely true. I would say Pritzker, Whitmer.
Pritzker.
Wow. Pritzker.
Okay.
A billionaire.
You're comfortable with the fact that he's a billionaire?
No. Like I say, I'm just guessing based upon like what I'm seeing out
Do not put us in a position where we have a right winger running for governor. No.
there. I think Buttigieg also not a fan. I think he's going to run. I think, like you say, Newsom's going to run. I would imagine there's going to be a couple of people in Congress who are going to run. I don't know if I could, even in a list of people that I would name, I would feel that confident that I would know who would win.
So if you
It's a crying shame
root,
Stalin Mullen have been dead for so long.
that's funny. If you could root for one person, like I would like to see this person.
Did he just make a Stalin joke because he doesn't know who Karl Marx is? These people are certifiably retarded. I'm not even holding back on that one.
Who would it be?
No. These guys need, the hard R word on these ones.
He said it earlier.
Bernie.
AOC or Bernie.
Oh,
He said
Bernie?
it, yeah.
Well, no, Bernie's. I mean,
I'll give you one more argument to convince you of this perspective. You don't need to, but you used Hassan as an example of left yelling at him, house, car, what happened? He is still on top dog on the left. It's not real yet.
So AOC?
No,
Is that
I
your
mean,
favorite
AOC,
candidate?
I don't think would win.
So who's your person? If you could put your money
I
on one
honestly
person.
That's my point. They don't have
Sam,
anybody.
no,
That was
stop
my
it, Vinny.
point.
No,
they have nobody.
No, I don't speak for the Democratic.
No, exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Wow. It's almost like it's not a fucking election year. We just got off an election season and we have this whole burnout like every American. But here you guys are. And the barometer for like popularity at this point is you guys don't even have anybody. You guys got nobody. When we obviously do. It's AOC and Bernie. They're fucking, dude. They're bringing numbers that Trump couldn't get, which scares the crap out of them. That's why Vinny's face is so damn red.
I'm asking Sam Seder. I'm not asking the Democratic Party.
I want to see.
You got to have someone in mind that you would like.
My man's got blood pressure like that must. I mean, dude, his heart rate monitor must always read over 100.
I think Murphy's also going to run. I want to see what people like. Who shows up with what?
I'm not even speculating. I'm asking who would you want to see? You.
No. But
you don't have anybody?
Yeah, you don't understand.
Really?
Yeah, I want to see who's going to.
You're a big podcaster. You don't have one person you'd like to see
to be president.
Yes.
It really depends, like on.
Just give me a name of who you.
I don't have like.
How do you not have a name?
Well, that was my point. They don't have anybody, bro.
But
That's the whole point I was making.
I'm not asking them. I'm just saying Sam Seder, professional podcaster, progressive, democratic socialist. You don't have one person you'd like to see.
Like to see as president.
Just be careful because that is considered a slur and ableism. Moronic is a much better word and more politically correct. That's also why I used it, is also because it conveys the point of how stupid I really truly think they are. Trust me, I'm not using it all the time because I don't know how to think of a lesser word. Trust me, I get
himself. I'd vote for.
I'm not using it because it's ableism like that. And honestly, this is the shit that they're kind of talking about right there.
Yeah.
Like, calm down.
That's it.
I mean, I'm curious.
I'm using it to convey that they're fucking stupid. Okay, I get it. But this is honestly, you lost this debate back when Donald Trump won in fucking 2016.
Curious, like,
like honestly,
I just don't know enough.
That was the original, like, oh, you guys are the language police now. I mean, they're doing it again. Oh, look, comedy. You can't do comedy.
About like someone like
can't say anything anymore.
Andy Bashar.
Okay, fine. If you need me to get that out of my lexicon of words, fine.
Just say who you like.
Push back.
I don't have that kind of relationship with politicians.
You don't know their names? You don't know their names?
Listen, I've had on the show.
Come on, Sam, bro. Do better. Just say a name and we'll move on.
Jasmine
AOC?
Crockett.
No, I don't like her policies.
Who do you like?
I mean, Jim McGovern from Worcester, Mass.
There we go, Jim McGovern. There we go.
Former congressman.
Congratulations, Jim McGovern.
Jim
that
McGovern.
wasn't.
I don't think
There's our boy.
There he is.
Future President of the United
Look at
States,
Jim.
Jimmy McGovern.
Get it, Jim.
Making America great
Let's
again.
go to the next story. I'd like to do two more. I'd like to do two more.
He's a
stories
great,
and we'll
actually,
wrap up.
congressman.
No doubt. No doubt. He's got a chance.
Texas high school football star.
You know, you should also keep an eye on Pat Ryan. I mean, there's some stuff I disagree with him on policy, but he's also pretty good.
I'm just looking out for you, making sure. I appreciate it, Sylvie. Thank you.
The 18th.
All right. Now you know names. I love it.
Texas high school football star Austin Metcalf
I'm not even kidding. Thank you.
stabbed in the heart, left to die in twin brothers' arms at track meet. This is a very, very difficult story. This is the father. And Vinny, maybe you want to preface what happened with the story.
Okay,
here.
so they allegedly they went to a track meet.
Yeah.
And I guess the guy in the bottom said something like the guy in the top said, hey, you're in the wrong area. He stands up, stabs that kid on the top in the heart, and the other guy runs away, and then his twin brother comes and holds him as he's taking his last breath, and he dies. And then this is the father, which is this is probably one of the most humble Christian, based freaking interviews. He's getting a little bit emotional, but listen what he says about the whole situation.
He died in his brother's arms. They were twins, identical twins. And his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding. And he died in his brother's arms. And I rushed up there, and I saw him on the gurney. And I could tell. They said he wasn't breathing. I could see all the blood. I saw where the wound was.
Austin, his father shares, was born 2 minutes before his twin brother Hunter, the two inseparable. As you can imagine, Austin is being remembered as an outstanding student at Memorial.
What is with it today? My buddy, I'm not sure if he's watching this right now, but he just sent me a completely random text. And here. I'll just read this for you. Oh my God, where'd it go? Oh my God.
Memorial High, his football team's MVP and a young man of faith. His father grappling with loss and forgiveness.
I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet, and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. The son.
He is quoting a line from Papa Roach. Would it be wrong or would it be right if I took another slice of pepperoni as dynamite? The
guy was in the wrong place. They asked him to move, and he bowed up. This is murder.
As I'm contemplating.
I don't know. I know they have someone in custody.
I'm going to say Pepicide.
And you know what? I already forgive this person.
By the way, I don't think he's watching this, so that just happened randomly.
Already?
Wow. God takes care of things. God's going to take care of me. God's going to take care of my family.
Wow. Yeah, it seems like he did.
Tom.
I think this is one
Sorry, guys. I know. But you know what?
of the most amazing testimonies I've seen
Is it?
in a long, long time.
God loves him so much, took his son. Man, you guys must love the book of Job.
And I think there's two
Guys, just so you know, that's how God treats good Christians.
things here. And he's asking without condemnation, just the question I think we all should be asking. What was up with the parent?
All right, Jeff, that's the best one you've had so far. Deaf Peppered. You got it.
Is this a,
That's
is
a good
this a
one.
single parent household? Is what sort of guidance was there? What sort of enablement, are we giving? And to
They're trying to say that he was black without saying that he was black.
stand up and say, I forgive this, most people won't understand this.
They're doing like this is all dog whistling.
Say, I can't forgive him. I want him to go to prison. Well, maybe that's what you want now, and maybe that's what you're going to get, because there's consequences for crime. And if this young man, the one that's photographed there in the mugshot that's being circulated, if that's the guy and this is what he's done, and the witnesses confirm it, then he's going to go to trial, and that's all going to shake out, and he's going to go to prison for a long, long time. And I think consequences are different from forgiveness, and the forgiveness this guy has in his heart, which appears to be led by Christian values, is tremendous. And what it means is, I'm not going to let eternal bitterness here hurt me. Is he going to hate what happened? Absolutely. And the loss he's got for his son, the grief has just begun. But he's also saying, I'm turning to the Lord to remove my bitterness so that I can go forward and live. And there's going to be consequences here on earth, this kid. There's two tragedies here. The tragedy is we have...
Well, no, but forgiveness is divine.
One young man, apparently, if this is the guy, who's going to go to prison for a long, long time.
And if he repents, then he should be then completely,
So he's going to be gone.
These guys never actually believe any of this shit.
On to his friends and family, just as this
Oops, I bet myself.
young man that was murdered is gone to his family. And the question is, what was the core of the belief structure and the life support and the
Welcome any new viewers over on YouTube. Just saw a few of you guys pop in.
examples and the mentoring and big brothers and people around that leaves this guy? Why do you bring a knife to an event? Because you have intent and you're going to show people.
Why do you guys bring guns with you everywhere you go? Is that intent? What? This guy's really stupid.
And you're going to do things. This is all
Okay, apply the same to why you guys need guns in Texas.
well documented in the failures of
Oh, he had a scary knife, guys. That's not a knife.
what goes on. And I have a lot of I just got so much respect for the father at this time of grief to be speaking this way. But I've also got it. It says,
Are you going to remove your bitterness to voice the left, mister?
you get what you want. You get what you vote for, and you get what you want in this country. And
The spicy pepper incident. Is that what it was called when I got banned on MR Discord?
And if you want things that are going to help, kids develop differently and better,
Rock and roll.
let's get behind that. But there's a flaw somewhere in the heart of this kid that, number one, he's carrying a weapon that he intended to use, apparently, and he used it.
Sam,
And
what are your thoughts on that?
Let's go look at that.
Please, Sam. Carry and conceal.
I think
all
it's. I mean, anything involving like children is difficult as a parent. That's always like difficult to see, and I think very admirable the father's response to it. It is sort of reminiscent of like what they call restorative justice, which I think has application in some areas and in others, a little bit more difficult. But that's what you're talking about when you talk about like that type of forgiveness and making.
God tortured and killed his son for a week and sacrificed him to himself to forgive humanity for violating rules that he knew they'd violate prior to creating them and said rules. Very logical. Yep.
Sure that the
But he's a jealous God.
victims of the crime or the family
Kirk, I think that we logged it. You've been literally doing this for 2 hours.
the victims can move on and live their life without
2 hours and like 20 minutes.
being stuck in that moment, to the extent that you can. I can't even imagine losing a child or a sibling, frankly. But I think
Narrative, story, heartstrings, never systematic, never material, anecdote, glorification is this is brainwashing.
it's
Yep.
a little bit
It's the same thing as that Lincoln Riley.
exploitive to assume that this is such a
Lose one white girl and then the fucking whole, every immigrant gets, thrown out. Brock Turner gets acquitted.
this is necessarily a political issue.
We live in a very fucking just great system that is totally fair. Rah, rah, America, people.
I mean, yes, I don't think people should be carrying weapons in public. I don't know where this took place, what the gun laws are, or what. But yes, I am against people having weapons in public. I don't know why this guy brought the knife in his pocket when he left the house. I don't know what goes on at his house. I don't know if the guy was on the other team, or I don't know any of the details about it. So I wouldn't make some type of like larger political statement that this has something to do with electoral politics. I mean, we have a society that in many ways
they're trying to make it a black guy gunned down a white Christian, and the father said he wants to forgive him, and they want to imply that they have more morals than anybody on the left because of this.
Elevates violence. And
Matt's kicking in. Good night, y'all. Go pep yourselves.
And I think you could argue.
Thank you for being here, Kirk. I appreciate it, man.
The violence that we pay for, in other countries, and get back pictures on your TikTok every day of what our weapons have done. Certainly, MLK said, every bomb that we drop in Vietnam blows up here. And the idea behind that was that, you cannot have a society that condones waging violence and not expect that violence to end up being self-inflicted. So,
Adam.
Well, it's a sad story. I mean, hurt people hurt people. I think it's entirely appropriate to speculate who raised this young man. You're 17 years old. You're bringing a knife to a track meet. Someone asks you to, hey, get out of the way, in the wrong place, and you end up stabbing them in the heart. I mean, what's going on with this person? What type of emotional pain, what type of anger, what type of hurt was this person already dealing with, that this was how he enacted his revenge for being told to move at a track meet? Texas has the death penalty, if I'm correct. So I don't know what's going to happen with this kid. He's 17 years old. I'm sure he'll be tried as an adult, my opinion. But my message is to one person and one person only. It's to the twin brother who's still alive, Hunter.
Well, wait, that sounds like you want the death penalty, but the father's already forgiven him, so that should be completely taken off the table. I'm sorry, pal. This is your fucking, what is so Christian about having bloodlust? You do know that the eye for an eye thing didn't just end at eye for an eye, and that's what they always do that. They're like, the Bible says eye for an eye. It's like, it says eye for an eye leaves everybody blind, you dumb fuck.
And I can't even imagine what this guy is going through right now. Because
this is, again, gun-toting Jesus, gun-toting GOP Jesus.
Father took the high road, obviously probably a man of faith, a Christian.
Major bombing right now? Oh, shit.
And I understand his perspective. The twin brother who looks identical, I believe. I can't even imagine.
You okay, Ryan? Everything good? Do you need, obviously, do you need to go?
The hurt.
Wow. I mean, now I feel awkward. I've never been in this position before.
The pain, the grief. Every time he looks in the mirror, he's going to see the brother that was killed and died in his arms. Oftentimes people say, hey, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. Genuinely, I think anyone that runs into this guy in his life, give this guy the biggest bear hug you possibly can and help this guy cope. I recently was in New York because I had to go to a funeral for one of my closest friends' younger brothers. And they were incredibly tight. And to see the hurt in the family and the pain in the family and the hurt in my good friend's heart because he lost his brother was so tough to deal with. And all I could do was give him a hug and say I'm there for him. So Hunter, the brother who's still alive, you're living for two now. My message to you would be honor your brother, live for
stay safe
for him, and make the most out of this life because you got two people to represent for. So God bless.
Yeah, that was a very good take, Adam, on a story like this. You hear this, it breaks my heart.
So you're telling him in his grief that he now needs to feel the burden that you have now instituted on him to feel that he needs to live for his brother as well as himself. That's kind of fucked up, actually. That's not as good as he thinks it is. As somebody who's going through severe grief right now, That's actually a very selfish take of him. And that's instituting the way that he perceives this shit. Gotta say, just coming from my own grief, fuck that guy.
As a parent, you don't have anything to say. And for the father to react that way, I mean, give me a break. Like, there's not more class to be shown than to handle that. You know, I don't see the story everywhere. I don't see people talking about it.
Weird.
I don't see it, you know, where it's being publicized or talked about. You said this is, what word did you use? You said, I don't think it's a story for us to use as anything. You said something about political. I don't think there's political or anything to it.
But you're doing just that.
The question that a lot of people would ask is, what would have happened if this was the flip side?
Oh, forget
Who would
it.
be covering it right now?
Oh my God.
Everybody.
Where would it be right now? Where would the story be right now? That's the divisiveness of what America's sick of. That's the divisiveness. That father gave a message that's a unifying message. That father gave a message that is a
Actually, that's a good question. Who did cover that?
example to other fathers that you try to. You're like, oh my God, the standard. But to me, when we think about why America flipped in certain places and why maybe mainstream
Those evil cities, guys. Those evil liberal cities with all their woke bullshit. Don't you know?
media has been getting a blind.
Honestly, isn't this are we getting to that point where this shit's getting a little old? Like, to the point where it just doesn't, like I responded to that one chatter today where it's just like, what does this woke, what? You're telling me that I'm cool? You're telling me that I'm based? Okay, cool.
Black guy,
Like, at this fucking point, where's the insult?
just as much as a Democratic.
Although I'm just saying that. It's not as much as the insult. I think it's just so they can control the narrative and just be like, yeah, see, woke. And because nobody goes, what's that? They just go, yeah, that means leftist thing with trans people, which I don't get. So, ew.
Party just as much as the U.S. government, just as much as CIA, just as much as FBI.
I don't think it's healthy to fix on random acts of violence beyond a systematic analysis because it can only give you a heightened sense of criminality and emotional manipulation.
Because
I mean, look what happened yesterday in the conversation that me and Anna had.
American people are just sick of it. They're fed up.
There is something to be said about that. And yeah, I am essentially the victim of that a little bit too.
They want to go back to living a normal life, and they want these divisive messages to slow down and find ways for us to sit down and have a conversation together. Sam, there's probably less than 10% of...
This is why I think a large driving force behind reactionary thought in women is their obsession with true crime. That's an interesting theory. I haven't heard that before.
policies you and I would agree with. But the more and more I listen to you speak and say the things that you say,
I'm going to have to think on that one tonight.
and your approach to it, I sit there and I say,
Shit, that's
I can't understand this guy, why he believes what he does. But you know what I will say? Tremendous respect for you to come here. You came, you gave your arguments, did your thing, you leave. This is the second time we've done this.
Thanks, bud.
Not a lot of your peers do this often. And they...
Yeah, because not a lot of people want to go into a 4v1, almost 3-hour podcast to constantly be challenged. And not, like, again, even Piers Morgan has the sensibility to be like, hey, I'm going to give you somebody that agrees with you so you can kind of, go back and forth and, like, bounce opinions off each other. This is insane.
all get invited. They all get invited, but they don't come.
Don't know that I have any peers.
No, what I mean is from people on the left
no
that
friends
are.
and peers, Sam?
You got 1.76 million subscribers. You put up 26,000 views. You are somebody that in your space you speak, and you have an audience that listens to you. They like to see your perspective. But a lot of people on the left, when we invite them for whatever reason, they don't show up. And I got
It's a long
so
trip
much
for me. It's just a
respect.
straight shot down
I got
from New York.
respect for a
They're
guy
all in
to
New
come
York.
in, sit down, have the conversation. And everybody that's watching this, whether you agree with him or not, you have to respect that he came here. because that to me is a very, very high
Everyone likely did cover it. What they want is to lionize the father to push Christian nationalism. Yep.
level of respect of anybody.
Yeah, that story and the way they were talking about it reminds me of the way that my school used to do that. Like in current events, that's the kind of story that would literally be talked about for months.
That's willing
Months.
to have the
Like we would invite that that dad to come and speak at our school.
conversation. If you do that, we need more of that, and let the American people decide and say, I don't agree with Pat. I think Pat is wrong here. I don't agree with Sam. I think I agree with that. I think I agree. No problem. You get to decide, and we get to have the conversation. But I
Let
want to
me at least return the compliment to you because I, according to Tim Pool, was blacklisted by all the right-wing shows 2 years ago when you had me on, and I think I think it was my opportunity to say like I can be well behaved sitting here, and we can get into arguments and whatnot. You were the only show that would do it. Now, Tim has since
F off. We love true crime because of the psychology of why they're messing up or why they're messed up in research.
sort of oddly
and
reversed, and I was on his show in November, but after I think he sat right here and said that I was a grifter, but be that as may, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate the fancy car that took me here and the hotel.
Next time we'll just do a
reminds me of how they explained that. Yeah, she said no. She said no. Yeah, some rebel. Yeah, that was huge. 8th grade. We actually read that book, and yeah, she said yes. No, she said yes because when she was asked if she was a Christian, she said yes, and they shot her.
Uber X and put you in economy, Sam.
Feel free.
Sam,
She was a martyr for the cause.
a 2-minute ride.
Publicly, please come back again, would you? A year from now, whatever.
What do you mean? Even in 4 years with the bet, it's
whatever.
$100.
Exactly.
$100.
Adam, we'll let
I'll
you
come
know
back for
if
that $100. We should charge interest on it.
So tomorrow we have Terrence Howard.
All right. Well, that was fun. Holy shit. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out in the algorithm. And also, check out my live streams weekdays from Monday through Friday and special Saturday streams. I really appreciate you guys checking out the content, and I'll see you in the next one.